One of the most unique species I've noticed in The Mandalorian Season 3, which I don't really recall seeing anywhere else, is the Warthog species. I'm not kidding, that's literally what they've called them. Not to be confused with the clone by the same name, this species we first saw in Chapter 17, The Apostate. One of Gorin Shard's pirates was called Warthog, and he was of the Warthog species. They look very unique indeed. But today, my dear friends, we have lots of updates for Ahsoka and Mando. The new rumours concern the live-action appearances of a few very exciting characters from Star Wars Rebels, after some new LEGO sets for the show have leaked. This comes almost a week after Zeb Orrelios made his live-action debut in The Mandalorian, and we do have some Mando news later on, but let's start with Ahsoka. According to a new report from Promo Bricks, who have been reliable in the past, Jacen Syndulla, who appeared in the Star Wars Rebels finale The Child of Hera and Kanan Jarrus, is going to appear in the show. He is a minifigure in an upcoming set, alongside Quarry, the Mon Calamari shipbuilder we saw in Rebels Season 2, an ironic name for a species, but there you go. This set, which releases in the summer of this year, is of the Ghost, one of the most iconic ships of Disney Star Wars. The set also includes minifigures of Hera Syndulla, Chopper, and an unidentified human male. We don't know which character he is at this stage. Now, we already knew that Hera and Chopper were going to be part of this season of Ahsoka. Jacen, on the other hand, is a massive reveal. Is he going to be Force sensitive like his dad? And also, could he appear in Skeleton Crew? And what is his overall purpose in the Mandoverse? He is still very young at this time, but he's going to be part of the Ghost Crew going forward nonetheless, in their live-action adventures. Now, it's worth noting that while the story by Promo Bricks was posted on April 1st, they have since confirmed this was not a prank. It's a rumour they've heard several times from numerous reliable sources, and on top of this, a second Ahsoka LEGO set is rumoured to be the T6 shuttle with minifigures of Ahsoka Tano, Sabine Wren, and her Yang from the Clone Wars, and David Tennant, who to all fellow Brits will always be the 10th Doctor in Doctor Who, is reprising his role for the Star Wars show, as confirmed in the exclusive footage shown at Star Wars Celebration. He's playing her Yang. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, we're finally here, guys. This weekend, we're probably getting an official trailer or teaser for the Ahsoka show at Star Wars Celebration. Also, the release date, Rosario Dawson is there, Hayden Christensen, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get a Thrawn announcement, but for all those in attendance, this is going to be so exciting. Now, I will say, guys, I did not get into every panel I wanted, but as always, I will be doing daily updates, keeping you in the know about big announcements and what's going on, so very exciting stuff is coming. And after The Mandalorian is finished, the Ahsoka show is said to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, release of 2023. We're going to return to Celebration in just a moment. Now, staying on the subject of LEGO leaks, a set based on the Mandalorian Season 3 finale, Chapter 24, has been announced. It's a Mandalorian Fangfighter versus TIE Interceptor, probably one of the ones that blew up Bo-Katan's home on Kalevala, and remember she said, there are too many for this to be a warlord, so could this be in reference to Thrawn? I'm still thinking it's Moff Gideon, or maybe another warlord, or both. The minifigures in this one include Din Djarin, a fighter pilot, an astromech, and a Mandalorian fleet commander, who unfortunately is not Fen Rao. I still do think Fen Rao is going to appear, but he's not part of this set, but some really awesome reveals nonetheless. And so now, my dear friends, staying on the subject of The Mandalorian, there is an Easter egg from The Force Awakens that's been making the rounds on Star Wars social media over the last few hours. In Episode 7, on Takodana, Mars's castle, we can see the Mandalorian mythosaur emblem as one of her flags. On top of this, on Takodana in Battlefront 2, Slave 1, or a similar fire spray, can be seen on the planet, just outside Mars's castle. Now, many fans have pointed out, this is not Boba Fett's Slave 1, this could be a random fire spray, but I do think there could be connections there, and while originally for The Force Awakens and Battlefront 2, these additions were just Easter eggs, in the far future in The Mandalorian Season 9 or 10 or whatever, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni could tie these in for continuity's sake, basically retcon them to be important. But as Dave Filoni said when talking about Grogu and where he is during the sequels, all the stuff with the Mandalorians at that time could be elsewhere in the galaxy. It's a big universe, not everything happens on screen, not everything has to connect, and so what Grogu's up to by then is very separate to that of Rey and everything else we see in those 3 movies. And so now, my dear friends, a very exciting tidbit for Andor Season 2. Andy Serkis's character Kino Loy is alive. After he stayed on the ledge on the prison of Narkina 5 because he couldn't swim, he didn't die. Cassian Andor encouraged him to give that famous speech and the big breakout, and while Cassian and Melshi with other prisoners jumped in, Kino Loy stayed behind. Many assumed he died, but it turns out he didn't, and we know this because Andy Serkis was spotted on set for Andor Season 2 in Spain. This information comes to us from a Spanish YouTuber called Perdidos en Hoth, and he also mentions multiple scenes that take place on Chandrila. This comes as very exciting news because he was a fantastic character played by an amazing actor, but now we wonder what his role is going forward. Is he going to help the rebellion? And so now, my dear Mandalorians, I thought we'd take this opportunity to talk about Star Wars Celebration, go through all of the big panels and what you can expect this weekend, because even if you're not going, I'm going to be reporting on all the big stuff, and there's a lot of massive news to come. So first things first, on Friday the 7th, there are quite a few interesting panels, including Mandalorian Motion and Energy, Droid Builders, Old Republic, but the biggest one is Lucasfilm Studio Showcase, and this is where the Mandalorian's going to be discussed, and also the Andor show. Some speculate this is where Mando Season 4 is going to be announced, and also a first look at the second season of Andor, the Rogue One spin-off. We might also expect some other show announcements, maybe the slate after Skeleton Crew and the Ahsoka show. Now the biggest highlight of this panel is Star Wars movie news. We might get a title for the next film, who's really working on the 2025 movie, and what the plan is going forward for the future of Star Wars movies on the big screen. I don't know if they're going to be set in stone, but I do expect we get some kind of announcement. So moving on to Saturday, the big event is the Ahsoka panel between 11 AM and 12 PM. Here is where Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and special guests give us a first look at the Disney Plus series Ahsoka. Now special guests could be a first official cast announcement, Amanis Fundi, Natasha Liu Bordizzo. Immediately following the Ahsoka panel, which does feature Hayden Christensen, Hayden has his own interview from 12 to 12:15 on the Celebration live stage. Carl Weathers is also being interviewed that day, Giancarlo Esposito as well. That day there's also Lightsaber Academy with Saber Guild, where they demonstrate how to wield a lightsaber like a true Jedi or Sith. Now Saturday is also where they're celebrating Return of the Jedi's 40th anniversary. Some of the big actors from that film are going to be there, but a special guest, amazingly, is Ming-Na Wen. I think she's hosting it. Now I should say guys, I'm skipping over some panels just to focus on the big ones. Later in the evening on Saturday, there is an Andor analysis panel, and also on Saturday evening, there is a Clone Wars 15th anniversary panel with Dave Filoni. This is a long shot and a bit of a stretch, but imagine if they announce a mini-series where they're going to complete some of the unfinished arcs of the Clone Wars. On Sunday, we have a look back at the Kenobi show. This is with Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Indira Varma, Vivian Lara Blair, Amy Ratcliffe, and Deborah Chow. Could they announce a season 2? Wouldn't that be something special? There's also villains of the sequel trilogy with Andy Serkis and Ian McDiarmid. And then finally on the Monday, on April 10th, my birthday, we have the Bad Batch panel with Jennifer Corbett, Athena Portillo, Brad Rao, Dee Bradley Baker, Michelle Ang, and Amy Ratcliffe again. And this, I believe, is where they're gonna announce season 3. As I say, there's so much else happening on the weekend to do with cosplay, lightsabers, art, history of Star Wars archives, and so on. So make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be covering all the good stuff when it drops. But with that said, my dear friends, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and if you want more videos not found here on YouTube, then click the link down there in the description. That will take you over to my Patreon page. But until the next one guys, may the Force be with you always.